So good afternoon, how we doing? Okay, wait a minute, we don't have post-lunch drowsiness, do we? Good afternoon, how we doing? Okay, so first and foremost, I am not a professional speaker. I have a full-time job. My boss has already chewed me out this morning. I got a coworker mad at me, and I'm trying to put out fires. So if you're expecting something polished and beautiful, what time is the next panel going to start? So how are we doing? We're good. Got to do roll call. So is the state of Tennessee in the house? Oh, JD, we got to get working in Tennessee. South Carolina. Okay, I grew up in Columbia. Hartford, I lived in Windsor. Okay, and South Florida, where are we? All right, okay. Man, my work is done. I can go ahead and leave. Okay, so why am I excited about this? I am excited because at Burger King, I have an amazing job. I am responsible for Burger King's connection to the community. It's our job to do more than feed people on a daily basis. It's our job to be connected, to uplift, to build infrastructure, to make sure that we let people know that we want to be here for the long term. Burger King is almost 60 years old, and for over the past 20 years, we have something called our BK Scholars Program. One of our founders of the company, Mr. Jim McLemore, right from Jacksonville, Florida. That's why Burger King, a lot of people don't know, we've been headquartered in Miami. The entire run of our company went to college on a scholarship. So our foundation, the McLemore Foundation, is 100% committed to college scholarships. I have to run back tonight. I can't stay with you tonight because in Miami, we're going to do our annual scholarship ceremony. We're going to give over 100 scholarships to worthy South Florida students on Monday night. In Broward County, we gave over 100 scholarships to Broward County students, but the amazing thing is we don't just do this in South Florida. We do this nationwide. Every year we give millions of dollars in the communities that we serve. We have over 7,000 restaurants here in North America and well over 10,000 restaurants globally. So for those of you who are rising seniors, come fall, visit bk.com and apply for our BK scholarship, because we love to invest in the people that visit our restaurants, which I know everyone in here does. So yes, I did say that with a smile on my face, and that is the Burger King segment of this show. Okay, so why am I here, really? I'm here to tell you that the people that invited me told me this, and JD and I talked about this. So 100% internships. You guys have a very aggressive goal. Very aggressive, 100% internships. I'm the guy that they call, the high schools call and say, Jerrell, we need to put some interns with you. And it's very aggressive, and it's I have only so many spots, and what do we do? I'm here to tell you that while you're working on that aggressive strategy, each one of you has the power to do more now. You have the power to do more right now. And as some of you push back and you say, what the heck is this guy talking about? I'm taking a bite from dinner and I'm grading papers. I can't check my text messages from my spouse because I got a kid standing next to me complaining about what he didn't get. How can you tell me that I'm supposed to do more? The power to do more that I'm talking about, I can best explain it to you with a story that I have personally. When I was in the third grade, I know I look young, I'm going to date myself a little bit. I grew up in rural Tennessee, a small country town called Denmark, right outside of Jackson, between Jackson and Memphis. And my parents were factory workers. Between the two of them, they don't have more than one semester of college. And teacher used to pin notes to shirts. I don't know if any of you remember that. So I got a safety pin with a note. And the older kids would read the notes, and they wouldn't tell me what they said because I couldn't read them. And so I get this note pinned to my shirt. And I remember how angry my parents were because, factory workers can't just take off work like this. It's the local lumber mill they worked at. And we get to the classroom, and the teacher told me to sit on the front row, and the class is empty. Kids are at recess. And then they call me back. And I remember it just like it was yesterday. The teacher's at her desk, my parents are in the front, and then I'm sitting here on the side. And she says, Jerrell, I've called your parents in today because I don't think you're being challenged in my classroom. And, to kind of paint the picture of her name was Miss Joy McCaskill. And Miss McCaskill was about 22, 23 years old. Anybody here know who Taylor Swift is? So imagine Taylor Swift talking to my parents who are upset because they've had to take off work, okay? And yeah, and she was a newlywed too, so she was happy about being married, right? And yeah, it's funny how Taylor always thinks about ex-boyfriends, okay? So she's looking at me and she's bright-eyed and she's full of energy, and she says, Jerrell, I've called your parents here because you're not being challenged, and I think you can do more. And she said, my sister is in the 6th grade at a private school in Jackson, and I've just recommended to your parents that you go to that private school. And I don't understand what's happening. I'm in the 3rd grade. Life is great. But at that point, no one had ever told me that I could do more, ever in my life. So at that point, life was status quo. All things were even. And she said, I know that the school, diversity wasn't a word then. She said, but I know that the school is looking to get more black kids. That's what she said. And she said, they're testing, and you can take a test for a scholarship. And I don't remember what the rest of the conversation was, but I do remember taking a test. I remember going and getting a scholarship, and I remember being one of 5 African-American children in an all-white private school of 700. And for the first time in my life, I was empowered to do more than I'd done previously. And I'll tell you, it's the key to why I'm standing here today. And so, as we work to get to 100% internships, I don't want you to for one moment think that there's something that you can't do in the interim. Because every situation that I've walked in knowing that I can do more than what's put in front of me. The other thing I want to tell you, especially some of you educators that are in very difficult situations, even though you're in an academy, you have a great network, and JD, I've sat with the team up here and they're amazing, is this. My mom and dad are phenomenal people. I just sent them a text message about what I'm doing, and I asked them to pray for me. Yeah. So they're amazing. And, I think about this. My mom was 15 when she got pregnant with me. She and my dad were high school sweethearts. And, they didn't, the manual, I'm a dad now, and, the manual you get is, at the hospital is, don't drop them. If they get a rash, put Desitin on them. And if they cry, put a pacifier in their mouth. I think that's about it, and they send you on your way. So there were things that they didn't get to impart, to tell me certain things. And so as I thought about preparing for this conversation with you all, Miss McCaskill was the first person that told me that in front of my parents. So they had never told me that in that way. And so, teachers, you have something very powerful, in your hands, and you're probably saying, well, we know this, we get it. But I'll tell you, because then I look at the exponential impact. So on a weekly basis, I'm in front of rooms of hundreds of students. When I spoke to the Academy of Hospitality and Tourism, it was 1,000 kids. So Miss McCaskill, one teacher, exponential impact, Jerrell. Look what I'm doing now. It's exponentially growing. I was a mentor in college. I played college football. Weekly, I went and spoke to classrooms. So I think about over years, how many people have I impacted exponentially? And as we know, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3, 9, and when it continues to go. This is the largest group of people I've ever spoken to. What happens next? How big will the group be? I keep going back to Miss McCaskill. Exponential impact. The one thing that I think about, if there was a power statement, I think about TEDx speeches and stuff like that. I'm not that cool. But a statement, I was flying up this morning from Miami, and I was turning through a magazine. I wish I could take credit for this statement. There was a statement that said, clarity kills doubt. There's nothing more powerful than a person that has no doubt. Clarity kills doubt. I looked at the idea board that's out there. Someone should write that up. because now I want to give you some corporate context as we think about the questions that you may want to ask. What's the challenges that we see when we have young people come in for internships that want to spend time in corporate settings? I've worked for some global brands, Nike, Mass Mutual. My Hartford people know Mass Mutual dwarfs Nike in profit and size. Fortune 100 company. Nike's only a Fortune 250. Burger King is an iconic brand. A lot of times young people come and they don't have clarity. I spoke to a young lady last night that had just come out of a phenomenal internship and she didn't know what she wanted to do. The first thing she said is, I am just a. She limited herself. She said, I'm just a contractor. Well, she told me that if she didn't believe in herself, how could I believe in her? A lot of times students will come in, they don't know about our business. These young people that I've been exposed to today, I don't think that they fit that profile, but I've been in human resources my whole life, and it amazes me still how with the internet and Google, how people don't understand the interviewer, the process. They have no knowledge of who we are. So my challenge to you all, as you push, JD, we talked about it, there's a need for NAF. We need you all, but have them prepared when they show up for the internships, because JD and I both talked about credibility. Sometimes you only get one shot with major corporations, and I'm going to be frank. I'm African American. I grew up in the community, and we know from my side of the fence, sometimes you only get one shot to get in there. That's how a lot of times, organizations that are committed to doing good, to serving, sometimes one person can challenge and mess it up. And I've been in those meetings where an executive says, don't bring them back in here anymore. So how do we make sure that kids are armed with the right information, the right knowledge? And, I saw out there on the board again that we hire for hard skills and we fire for soft skills. So then that's where, we have to make tough decisions about how we communicate, how we integrate and still keep our authenticity. And I'm going to end in this, and then, you guys, we're going to open up to all kinds of questions. A young man asked me last night, he said, Jerrell, what was one of the biggest challenges you had in your career, from a corporate standpoint? And for me, it was losing my identity, my authenticity. And authenticity is everything. And it goes back to Miss McCaskill telling me that I was more. I was at a company, and I was constantly being challenged for, clearly I'm a bubbly guy. I know I'm kind of solemn right now, but bubbly guy, extroverted. And I found myself turning myself down. I said, I'm turning the volume down. I was just continuously doing that. And as I did that, I became less productive. I was less engaging. And surely it came, I was being coached. Well, Jerrell, we're just not sure that, you're the right person for the job. And then, I started to check out. And, the young man asked me last night, he said, well, what did you do? I said, I left. I found another job. And then my career continued to progress, and I took off. So what can teachers do? Teachers can tell kids that they're enough. Whenever I coach, whenever I mentor, I tell people that they're enough right now. I meet young ladies that put contacts in to change their eyes, and I know you teachers see that and the extensions and all this stuff. You're enough. You're enough right now, right in the space that you are. And if there are things that we got to work on, there are ways that we got to build on that. The authentic person, the authentic self, if you look at entrepreneurs, which is what we encourage, Burger King does a lot of investment in entrepreneurial programs. The most successful entrepreneurs are usually very authentic. That's where innovation comes from, and diversity drives innovation. So from an authenticity space, we got to encourage people to not lose that. So that's what I leave with you. Clarity kills doubt. You have the power to do more right now. And, for me, and being transparent with you, authenticity is so critical. It is so, so very critical. We had a young man, I love storytelling, had a young man with this boot camp we did for entrepreneurs about a month ago. And this young man is very, 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 he's smart, he's intelligent. He won the competition. He's a clothes designer. And clearly, he's articulate, and he's interning at Michael Kors this summer. He's a representative of the Miami High School LGBT community. He's also one of the top football players in the South Florida community, and he's one of the top-rated wrestlers in the South Florida community. And he says to me, well, Jerrell, I hope to come work at Burger King one day. And I'm like, man, I hope to come wear your clothes one day. You know, I'm like, this guy's amazing. But what made me so happy is that where I grew up, he could have never been that authentic. And I said, there's someone in his life encouraging him to be authentic. He's so amazing that the NFL, the NBA have called him to come speak on behalf of athletes who've come out. That's what authenticity gets us right there. So teachers, I thank you, I applaud you. Because of Miss McCaskill, I'm standing here right now. You know, she told me I could do more. You know, in every situation, you know, when my boss chews me out, and I needed to get chewed out, by the way, I know I can do more. You know, and sometimes you all are that bridge. You all are the bridge sometimes, the only bridge that we have to go over. So with that, NAF, I thank you. JD, I thank you. I thank you for what you're doing. You know, the Hospitality Academy, we got some amazing things to think about and talk about, you know, with what we're going to do at Burger King. You know, I'm excited about it.